Try not to move, it'll only make things worse.
Fuck you!
So that's where he came from. Hey, welcome back. You probably didn't notice, but I was gone for a while. Don't look over there. Don't look over there. I had a good reason though. Phew. But I'm here now with a good review. Well, I'm here with a review for the sci-fi horror Callisto Protocol. I played this on the PS5 and actually finished it. I know. I'm also shocked. So I feel semi-adequate to haphazardly put together a critique that I had absolutely no business in judging. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna mention any spoilers directly, but there might be some in the background because, not unlike myself, it's short and I don't have a lot to work with. So if you don't want spoilers, check the timestamp to hear my final verdict. To start off, the story. Let me give you a synopsis. Blue-collar dude gets stranded on a snowy planet and needs to find a way off. Do you think that's a good descriptor? For a game? For any game? Well, it shouldn't because I was trying to describe Dead Space 3. Fine. Maybe I didn't give it a fair enough shot. Look, what I'm trying to say is that the story is predictable. To be honest, I didn't even feel compelled enough to listen to the audio logs you collected throughout the game to get the additional backstory. And, hey. Psst. Yeah, you. Just between me. I heard that GameStop has a relatively new policy where you can return a game within 48 hours of its release date for a full refund and store credit. Now I said release date and not purchase date because those are two completely separate things. And yeah, store credit might not be how you bought it, but it beats getting back $30 for a game you just dropped 70 bones for. So do with that what you will. What was I doing? Oh right. Okay. My point is that its story isn't compelling enough on its own to warrant me keeping this game. But that's not what kept me engaged about it and made me want to keep it. And definitely not because I napped too long and missed the cutoff date for the return. Oh hell yeah, V-Bucks! This game is surprisingly easy to pick up. I applaud their accessibility, unlike other games I had planned to do reviews for early this year. Last year. It's 2023 now. Get in the frame. Get in the frame. God, this piece of shit game! I can switch between my guns unencumbered, or I can use my stasis. I'm sorry, I meant my GRP glove. Wink. That is, of course, if you actually remember it's there. I barely used it. I didn't even use it when it specifically asked me to do so. I did wish they allowed us to increase our inventory capacity early in the game. Yeah, okay, we get that auto upgrade about halfway through, but that don't do me any good now. Especially since this is a very linear game. I can't even go back to pick up the items I missed or specifically dropped because those areas are completely inaccessible now. I'm ashamed to admit, but on multiple occasions, I committed the cardinal sin of selling my ammo. I needed the space, so I'd rather get something for it now rather than nothing for it later. And why did I have so much ammo? Because these space pinatas are chock full of them, and they're begging me to release them from their flesh prison. Because I'm a punk ass bitch and ain't no good at those pew pew games, so I put it on the easiest difficulty. That's why. And because of the return policy, I was on a timer, man. A nice touch by Crafton was the ability to reload some of my recent passives. That is a very forgiving feature for a game that could be unforgiving at some parts. Why would you use this? Perhaps to be better prepared for an oncoming horde, or maybe to undo your dumbass decision when you sold all your ammo because you think you weren't gonna need it. Look, we all learn from our mistakes. One gripe I will mention about this game, some of the animations take a long time, like, just to name one, healing. Healing takes a ridiculously long time. I know diabetics that would run circles around this relatively young, slow bastard. Let's pick up the pace. Come on, don't let them outshine you. I thought the game looked great. I'm not gonna hide the fact that I played this on the PS5, and Sony did have a hand in its final development. So notably, it looks better on the Sony consoles. It's like if you and your dumber sibling or cousin wanted to play a game together. Are you gonna give them the nice first-party controller? Or are you gonna go and get that janky monster-looking one that you got from the clearance bin? That depends. Do you love them? I don't, so Mad Cats it is, you little shit. I would also like to give an honorable mention to the death scenes that were made for both yourself and the enemies. Such detail wasn't necessary, but I can tell the animators were big fans of Blood In, Blood Out. Initially, I was gonna comment on the lack of variety in the enemy. You got the infected inmates / guards. You got the baby leeches, which I guess you could just call babies. That alien from Lilo and Stitch. Those blind bastards. These hunchback looking motherfuckers that appeared way too much throughout the end. Oh, and the dead hand from Ocarina of Time that I had, until recently, forgotten about. Give or take maybe 1 or 2 more, not including the bosses, and that's about it. But I also remember this game is only about maybe 10 to 15 hours long, so that's like 1 new enemy per hour. That's pretty generous, so I'm gonna give him that. Oh, and Kimiko's in it from The Boys. Wait, that's Kimiko, right? Shit. Karen Fukuhara. Okay, it's her. We're safe, boys. What's the game sound like? I don't know, spooky game gonna spook. The game is in space. It lacks sound because it's in space. That makes sense. There's snowfall, which further dampens the no noise. There's wind blowing in those 15 minutes that you're actually outside the station, and there's shit scurrying in the vents. 2 out of those 3 I can actually relate to IRL. Side note, I researched how to critique music, and I came across a lot of people really like the soundtrack to Silent Hill 3. How? I don't want to listen to sounds that evoke the feeling of perpetual despair and the futility of man. Y'all are fucking with me, and I know it. Yeah, the voice acting's pretty good too. Is this game replayable? Nah. But then again, it's not a long game. It's a nice cozy weekend game. You know, something to snuggle up to. So if I felt so inclined, I don't. But if I did, it's there. So here we are. Should you play Callisto Protocol? Sure, it's a very enjoyable, curb-stomping, happy fun time. Should you buy this game? Not for $70. Fuck no, definitely not for $70. $30. Hell, wait for it to come free in the PSN store. It's not worth that much. It's a good game. You know, not that much. The game plays easy, looks great, sounds good, but you probably already know the story before even getting past the first chapter. So the recidivism rate at which you go back to this game are low, but not zero. In conclusion, if it looks like Dead Space, sounds like Dead Space, and then you might just be missing the visceral games of yesterday. I don't like first-person shooters. I don't know if it's because I was raised on third-person view, or because I already suffer from imposter syndrome, and that just exacerbates it? I don't know. This has nothing to do with the review. I just felt compelled to talk about it today because we need to bring it back to video games and not just have it as some tag on some unsavory site.